So this is the most important point which you have to remember, that for less than OG curve always the graph goes up, whereas for more than OG curve always the graph it falls down, that is top to bottom. So this is more than type and this is less than type. Students, in this video we are going to discuss about OG curves. So OG curves. So generally there are two types of OG curves. One is less than and the other is more than. So less than OG curve, you have to remember that on the x-axis you have to take always upper limits, and for the more than OG curve on x-axis always you have to take lower limits. So you have to remember this point which is important. So without wasting any time, let us solve one problem. So here in this question, the following distribution gives the daily income of 50 workers of a factory. So this is the daily income and these are the number of workers. So the number of workers is our frequency and daily income is our class interval. Okay. So by this data what you have to find out, he is telling us to find out the OG curve, convert the distribution above to a less than type cumulative frequency distribution and draw the OG. So here you have to see that this is less than type. So you have to convert this into less than OG curve. So for that, first of all you have to take three columns. So let us take the three columns. So in the first column you have to mention the upper limits. So as I said before, when you are taking less than OG curve, the most important thing is that you have to take upper limits. So this will be our upper limits. This column will be our frequency and this will be our cumulative frequency. So how to find out this cumulative frequency, I'll explain now. Now we will take the upper limit. So what are the upper limits here? 300, 350, 400, 450 and 500. So here we can add one more column if you want for taking the x values and y values. So our frequency is 12, 14, 8, 6 and 10. Now let us see how to find out the cumulative frequency. So this point is very important. So for that you have to go to the question. In the question you are having 50 workers. So here the last answer should also be 50 because it is a less than. So first of all we will take 12 as it is, this value 12 as it is. So for getting the next value simply you have to add 14 plus 12. So 14 plus 12 is 26. The next value will be 26 plus 8. So that is for 34. So 34 plus 6 is 40. 40 plus 10 is 50. So our final answer is 50. So this is tallying with the question. In the question also you are having 50, here also you are getting 50. So our calculation is correct. So now on the x-axis what you have to take? You have to take upper limits. On the y-axis you have to take the cumulative frequency. So what is the upper limit here? 300. Y-axis is cumulative frequency 12, 350, 26, 400, 34, 450, 40. Similarly for 550. So this will be on x-axis and this point will be on the y-axis. So now we will plot this on the graph and we will get a Uji curve. So let us take, this is our x-axis and this is our y-axis. On the y-axis we are taking cumulative frequency and on the x-axis you are taking upper limits. Why? Because it is a less than type. Less than type Uji curve. So that's why we are taking upper limits on the x-axis. So I am taking the values from 300, 300, 350, 400, 450 and 500. Similarly on the y-axis I am taking the values from 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 and 50. So here while taking the values, first you have to remember the maximum value which you are getting on x. The maximum value on x is 500 and the maximum value on y is 50. So I am taking the values from 300, 350. So here some values are there, so simply you have to mention like this. So on the x-axis I am taking from 5, 10, 15 so on till 50. Now we will plot the values. So the first value will be 300. So for 300 you are getting the answer as 12. So somewhere this will be our 12. So I am plotting here 12. So similarly for 350 I am getting the answer as 26. So this will be 25. So this will be 26. So somewhere I'll get the point here. This is our point. So for 400 our answer is 34. So I'll get the point here just below 35. So this is our point. So similarly for 450 I'm getting the answer as 40. So this will be our 40 point. So this will be our point here. So similarly for 550. So this will be our 50 for 500. Now simply join all these points. So when you join all these points, you will get a curve. So this type of curve is known as less than Uji curve. And one more important point which you have to remember, that always the less than Uji curve, it goes from bottom to top. Always you have to remember, it goes from bottom to top. So this is the less than Uji curve. So this is our next question. The following table gives production yield per hectare of wheat of 100 farms. So there are 100 farms. So this is the data, this is the class interval and this is the frequency. So you have to change the distribution to a more than type distribution and you have to find out the ogive, and this ogive should be more than type. So now let us see how to calculate the ogive curve. So I am taking some columns here. So as it is more than ogive curve, so I'll take first of all lower limits. Next will be our frequency, and next we'll have more than cumulative frequency, and next is x and y coordinates. So here our lower limit is 50, so I'll take 50. Next lower limit is 55, 60, 65, 70, 75. So what are the frequencies here? The frequencies are 2, 8, 12, 24, 38 and 16. So as you know that this is a more than type of frequency, so first of all you have to see the question, how many farms are there, what is the number here. So here in the question you are having 100, so 100 farms are there. So simply go to the question and find out the number and write the number here 100. So for getting the next value, simply you have to subtract 2 from 100. So 100 minus 2 is 98. So for getting the next value, simply 98 minus 8 is 90. So 90 minus 12 is 78. 78 minus 24 is 54. Similarly, 54 minus 38 is 16. So here you can see 16 and 16, both the values are 16. So then our calculation is correct. Now on the x-axis I am taking lower limit 50 comma, on the y-axis I am taking the more than cumulative frequency. The y coordinate will be 100. So similarly 55, 98, 60, 90, 65, 78, 70, 54 and 75 is 16. So these coordinates you have to plot on the graph. So this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. On the y-axis I have to plot more than cumulative frequency. On the x-axis I have to plot the lower limits. So here you have to remember that this type of graph is more than, so always you have to take the lower limits on the x-axis. So our values are 0, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75. So similarly the values here I am taking 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 and 100. Here you have to take the maximum value. Maximum value for x and y. What is the maximum value for x is 75. For y is 100. So according to that I have to take these values. So if I take 10 I will get 100. If I take 5 there is a chance that I will not get 100. So simply for that I am taking 10. So here also I am taking from 50. So if you are taking nothing here, so simply mention like this. So now let us plot the graphs. So the coordinates are for 50 I am getting 100. So this will be 100. For 55 I am getting 98. So now 98 will be somewhere here just below 100. So 60 I'll get 90. The answer is 90, so I'm getting here. And for 65, the answer is 78. So simply I'll take this. This is our point. For 70, this will be 54. So this is our 50. So this is 50. Just below that, I'll take this is 70. This is 54. Okay. Uh, Next, for 75 is 16. So this will be 20 and this will be 25. This will be 15. So here I'll take 16. So these are the points. Now I'll join all these points. So when I join all these points, you can see that I am getting a curve. So which is coming from top to bottom. If the graph is falling, that is from top to bottom, then this graph or this ogive is known as more than ogive curve. So this is the most important point which you have to remember, that for less than ogive curve, always the graph goes up, whereas for more than ogive curve, always the graph it falls down, that is top to bottom. So this is more than type and this is less than type.